Hi and welcome to the last video in the topic of variables. It's going to be a very short video, this one, guys, because I just want to pick up on a couple of tricks of the trade which are available for you to use should you wish to do so. Okay, so the title of the video is Variables Multiple and Identical Assignments. Sometimes we say multiple and same value assignments. Okay, so two terms meaning the same thing. The purpose of this video is very quickly to show you how to use one line of code for same value or identical assignments, and to show you how to use one line of code for multiple value assignments as well. As usual, please make use of the monster resources to supplement your learning in the classroom. You have the Python booklets available to you, and of course the videos as well. Let's crack on and have a look at some Python demos so you can see how these two tricks of the trade work. So let's have a look at same value assignments or identical value assignments first. Well, let me just move that over a little bit, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's the same value assignments. So same value assignments. So let's imagine we have a scenario where counter 1 is assigned the value of 0. So let's say this is the initialization part of a much bigger program. Counter 2, okay, is initialized with an initial value of 0, and counter 3 also with 0. Okay, now this is what you would normally expect to see, assignments made to variables on different lines of code. But because we have three variables all being assigned the same value, what I can do is I just get rid of those lines of code, is I can move it up with a slightly different syntax. I can move these up to one line of code. So counter 1 becomes counter 2, becomes counter 3, becomes 0. I'm just going to run this because even though I won't get outputs, I can just check that I don't have a syntax error. There we go. So the only reason this works is because, as you know from previous videos, Python always does assignments from the right hand side first. Okay, so it starts off with counter 3 assigned the value of 0. So when it's done that, it then moves to the left and it assigns the value, assigns the variable counter 2 with the value associated with counter 3. And then, of course, guys, you know what's coming next. It will then finally, okay, assign to the variable counter 1 the value associated with counter 2, which of course has just been given the value of 0. Okay, so it's a nice little technique. It just makes your code a little bit neater. You don't have to use it, but it's there if you want to do so. Okay, so I'm just going to move that up a little bit just to tidy it up, and we are going to look at multiple value assignments. Slightly different, because on this occasion we're going to be assigning different values to our variables. Okay, the data type doesn't matter. You can use this technique with variables of different values but the same data type, or different data types. It doesn't really matter. So let's do var1 equals, let's do a string name. Okay, var2 let's do a float, and var3, I just suddenly thought, let's do var3 as a boolean. Okay, the much neglected boolean data type that we haven't actually mentioned since after the first video on data types. So not to be outdone, let's do false, okay, which is a boolean data type. So I'm just going to run that. Let's just tidy it up a little bit. There we go. Just to make sure I don't have a syntax error. Cool, there we go. So that's worked okay. Now the one line equivalent of this is to say var1 comma, okay, it's not equals because they are of a different value. So var1 comma var2 comma var3 comma equals. And now this is the tricky bit. Okay, it's very easy to make a mistake here. You've got to get the values in the right order of the variables on the left hand side. Okay, so obviously name, okay, and var2 is associated with 12.45, and then our much neglected boolean data type, which is false. So let's run that just to make sure I haven't made a mistake. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to, I should have got rid of those earlier really, never mind. Okay, it doesn't cause a problem. So this technique, which is the same value, you may see this used quite often. I've seen it used quite often on the internet. Perfectly justifiable, guys. You are welcome to use that nice little neat one-line trick of the trade if you wish to do so. The one you might not see so often is this one, for a reason that I hinted at earlier, because if you do happen to get these mixed up by mistake, let's say that you get these two mixed up and you get them the wrong way around, it's a sort of double whammy, because not only have you assigned the wrong value to one variable, but you've actually assigned the wrong value to two variables. Okay, so the wrong values to two variables, because Python doesn't check on the validity of the data type you're assigning to a variable. It's actually quite error prone, so some programmers tend to avoid it for that very reason. It's less risky putting them on single lines of code, but again, as I said, it's there for you to use if you wish to do so. So that brings us to the end of this video, very short video. Also brings us to the end of the videos covering the topic of variables. The only one I need to cover off is local variables, which I will do when we come to look at writing your own functions. In the next video, I'm going to look at basic maths operators, and also how Python deals with bid maths. So I may see you in the next video.